Good Saturday morning. We're getting ready to do Alex's ride. I'm a little bit slow this morning because it's morning.
Good morning, we're here.
Good morning, Gary. Good morning, Ileana. So today I've got the Darkstar. I'm going to be talking more about what it's like riding that bike. Ken has that black heart road tie. This is part of the Specialized SL7, SL8 crew out here. They don't like that I mentioned that there are certain bikes that are better than the Tarmac, but we won't talk about that right now. And then Javi with the sweet, that's an Imanda, right, Javi?
Yes, sir.
Trek's best bike. This is my good friend, Chris Johnson. Despite the fact that he has
What's going on?
a Tarmac SL8.
Despite, there's a lot of haters out there.
And what's that thing you have on the back there? What is that?
The absolute black oversized pulley.
Okay.
I will say, 100% for looks. Doesn't make me any faster.
It's Saturday morning in Weston, Florida, and that can only mean one thing. It is time for the Ride 84 group ride. There are 3 different rides at the Ride 84 ride. Anything from fast pace to race pace. Today I'm going to do the fast pace, or the C group. Over a 30-mile loop, we're going to average close to 20 miles an hour with a rolling pace of anywhere between 19 and 21. Sometimes we'll see 22. But most of these guys that you see out here are here to test their mettle in the A group ride. The A group ride is a race-paced ride that will cover 40 miles nonstop at a usual average pace of about 24 miles an hour. Today, I am on a steel frame bike known as the Darkstar. It was recently rebuilt with a few performance enhancements, and I'll share a bit on how it compares to riding performance carbon later on in this video. And that's the C group today, which is freaking huge. Pulling out right there. Alright, the ride has just started. We're just kind of like doing the warm-ups. I'll get some shots after the warm-up as we pick up speed and stuff like that. And I'll talk a little bit about the bike as well. Trying to figure out why everybody is looking so glum on this beautiful Saturday morning. We're out here on our bikes. We're like kids. It's a chill ride, no pressure. But everybody just looks so serious. I came around the second pass to see if I would get some smiles and some waves. Nothing. Still glum faces. 1 thumbs up. All right. I don't know what to say. Everybody's kind of blah today. Maybe the pace needs to pick up. Look at this, guys. It's a jackpot. It's a SL7 and an SL8.
Hey, we out here.
Amazing. And here I am on a lowly steel bike. All right, warm-up is basically done. We're about 5.6 miles into the ride, and we're getting ready to start heading south into a little bit of a cross headwind on Flamingo Road. One of the comments I often get on my ride videos is about how we are clogging the roads. We need to get off the road. Saturday morning, 7:30. You can see for yourself how light the traffic is on this road. We're not blocking, impeding, or being bad citizens in any way. Every community is different. What works here in South Florida may not work where you are. Anyway, two things about this bike, and it has more to do with the geometry than it being a steel frame, is the reactivity to steering inputs. With that 73-degree head tube angle, the bike is very reactive to my steering inputs. Not in a bad way, but it settles down. It's not twitchy. I like it actually. Fire up. All right, 16 miles in, we're about to go over the Ratty Road section, and this bike has been notoriously unpleasant on that, but we'll see how it does today. Tell me, how you doing, bro?
Doing great.
Eliana, ¿cómo tú estás?
¡Ay! Súper bien.
De lo más bien.
Muy bien. Why are you not in the beach?
I felt like taking it easy today. Wait a minute. I should be asking you the same question.
Probably. I like riding with my friends and they ride.
There you go. So the other strong consideration of this bike is what I feel when I torque it. It's pretty stiff, but I feel like it's not as stiff or as tight as the carbon bikes are, kind of like towards in the head tube region with that torque. Ride's kind of wrapping down, 25 miles in. The group is still for the most part together. And it's been a good zone 2 workout for me. The wind is crazy today. We're getting ready to ride into a stiff headwind. And this bike is not the least bit aero. All right, Chris. Yeah, good ride, guys. Okay, so that's the ride done and dusted on the Darkstar. The differences that I felt in a bike, first one was that the steering is more reactive, not in a like twitchy, out of control way, but definitely more reactive than the carbon bikes that I have been riding. That's the first thing that I've noticed. The other thing is the rigidity from the carbon frames is more pronounced, not in a this is too harsh manner, but just in a more solid manner. And then the bottom brackets, definitely you feel the differences in the bottom bracket on the pedaling. But this bike has kind of like a snap. It's weird to describe the snap that it has. Like when you, even though this was like a moderately paced ride, when you kind of like get up and kind of like torque, it kind of goes, which is kind of good. But you don't expect it. It just kind of does. But those are the differences between the bikes and the material. The difference that I'm feeling in terms of the steering, that kind of like responsiveness or reactivity, I think that has more to do with the geometry at a 73-degree head tube angle as opposed to the kind of like 71 and a half, 72-ish of the carbon frames. But good ride. Hey, yo, well, that was a lot of fun. Hey, listen, guys, this coming weekend, I'm going to be at the Sea Otter Cycling Festival, and my hope is to meet manufacturers of different types of bikes, but primarily, I'm hoping to meet manufacturers of metal frames, and I'm going to do what I can to bring more of that type of content on the channel, because I think it's a neat exposure. You know, Gilles, the guy on the white SL7, after the ride, he started asking me a lot of questions about how the bike rides and performs and feels, accelerates, and things like that. And I said, here, just take it for a quick spin. And he took it for a quick spin around the parking lot. And when he came back, the first words out of his mouth was, "Dadgummit, snappy." And I said, yeah, they'll surprise you. People don't expect that type of performance to come out of a steel frame. And I know that, you know, doing this type of video with steel frame content, I'm going to get the inevitable, yeah, steel is real heavy. How original of you. Listen, don't knock it until you try it. And having an opportunity to ride bikes made out of different materials and for different purposes, like the Basso SV, the Basso Diamante, and recently, last week, I took the Colnago V3 RS on a ride where I set a whole bunch of PRs. It's a ride that I have been doing for the last few years. It's like the performance with carbon is definitely there, but there's a certain performance feel that you get from steel that's just, it's like, I wish more people would experience it. So I'm not on a crusade or anything, but I do like being able to share what that experience is like. So that's where I think I'm going to leave this video. I thank you guys for continuing to support the channel by watching these videos, by liking, commenting, and subscribing. And while you're commenting, be kind. All right, guys, as always, our aim here is to inform, instruct, inspire. Be blessed.